What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 2 of season 3 of Demon Slayer. It's finally out, and if you guys missed our review of the first episode of the season, we actually did that weeks ago because we went and did that event that they did in theaters that had the 2 episodes from last season and the first episode. So if you want to see our review of that episode, we have done it. Go check it out. So this is episode 2. We're going full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've watched this. This is Demon Slayer, so I'm sure you have if you are watching anime. It's one of the big ones. So yeah, this episode is pretty straightforward and kind of threw us off of what was kind of being implied in the last episode where we left off. Tanjiro was eavesdropping on the blue-eyed Hashira, I don't know his name, talking with one of the swordsmith people, a 10-year-old, oh god, what was his name, Kotetsu?
Yes.
Okay. Talking with him, trying to find a key. We also saw the back of, at the time, assumed to be the number one of the top 5 demons. Yeah. We find out in this episode that apparently the key he is after from this kid Kotetsu is to that replica of well, I guess not necessarily that demon, but whoever that demon was, possibly, because this was made 300 years ago. This is a really old combat doll that needs a key to activate. The kid doesn't want to give it up because he has a lineage that has to do with people who have built dolls, and he is the last of that, and so he's hesitant to let somebody use it and destroy it, essentially, because he's feeling unsure in himself if he can even, work on it and fix it or whatever. So, he's got a lot of pressure. Tanjiro is listening. He's, of course, having issues even listening to people talk that don't know he's there because he's such a good guy. He's like, it's rude to be eavesdropping. But once the blue-eyed Hashiro, I wish I knew his name, starts getting rough with the kid, he has to, of course, step in because he's Tanjiro. He starts talking with the guy. The guy's very condescending to Tanjiro, going like, why are you even, a demon slayer? I'm surprised you even made it, blah, blah, blah. And through their discussion, Tanjiro saying he doesn't even like this guy because just his whole essence. He ends up knocking Tanjiro out. I forgot his name, but Tanjiro's swordsmith apparently is in hiding, shows up. He's getting ready to carry Tanjiro, but he wakes up. And once he wakes up, he runs away. Talks with oh god, I forgot his name already. Kotetsu. Jesus. About the whole situation, finding out that this is a combat doll. He got the key from him, and he's going to use it to train. They watch him train, and the Hashira is fighting a 6-armed combat doll, and he is very, very good at what he's doing. They make it a point that he's a prodigy. He's, I think, younger than Tanjiro.
Yes.
Similar age, but
and
younger.
Smaller.
And smaller. Yeah, because when Tanjiro grabbed him by the wrist, he's like, oh, he's thinner than me, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, he's definitely a prodigy in what he does. He's practicing with the doll. We get to meet his bird that follows him around, which is Crow, who's an asshole. Very proud of him and thinks everyone else sucks. Very condescending. Bites Tanjiro on the face, which I thought was fucked up. And yeah, so the Hashira fights the doll, ends up breaking it, defeats it. He damages his sword, so he takes one of the 6 swords from the doll and just throws his old sword at Tanjiro. Like, get rid of that for me. So that was kind of fucked up. So yeah, not I mean, it's great for him to be able to get this training in, but for everybody else, it's just like, okay, cool. So anyway, after Kotetsu runs off and hides, Tanjiro gives him a pep talk, as he would. And after that, Kotetsu decides that Tanjiro should train with this doll and become stronger than this Ashira. So they decide to do that. They test it. It works. They replace the swords with
Practice swords.
Practice swords, yeah. They look like just like bats or something.
They look like clubs, yeah.
Clubs. And so Tanjiro is kind of hesitant to want to do this, but we find out Kotetsu is a very aggressive, I wouldn't even say tutor, but like he holds Tanjiro to do this and is very aggressive and starts to insult him, which is funny. Withholds food and water from him, and is really intense to the point where Tanjiro's face is starting to sink in because he's surviving off rainwater. We get a montage where he's fighting this thing over and over again. It's kicking his ass. He keeps talking about like almost dying, ready to die. He's going to die. Eventually, Kotetsu tells him he's going to replace the clubs with swords. He does. And we start seeing Tanjiro making progress on this fight, getting closer. He gets a strike in, but it's a weak one. And then later, he is going in, doing kind of a flip to strike the doll. The doll barely misses his head, cuts the hair off his head, but he's able to strike, take its head off, and it is revealed that there is a sword inside the doll. And again, this is a 300-year-old doll, so this is a 300-year-old sword, likely. And yeah, we're kind of left off there. And this potentially could be Tanjiro's new sword or a clue to something. We'll find out, I'm sure. And then this was, I think, our first time seeing the outro sequence to the season, which I thought was pretty good. And yeah, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun episode. It was full of a lot of comedic moments, which I appreciate when, we're essentially getting an information episode and a training montage. And so them sprinkling the comedy in makes it entertaining throughout.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting 2 episodes into this season getting a training montage.
Yeah.
That quick. I was like, okay,
well,
guess that's what we're doing. And they did in 1 episode.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, too, because obviously we have 2 Hashira. We have Tanjiro, Nezuko, and then the angry guy, I can't remember his name, who are obviously all going to be involved in this, and then 2 demons. So I assume there's a lot to be packed in, and so they're probably just trying to get through the beats quicker.
Yeah.
So we can get to that stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering because in the intro sequence we see a lot of stuff that will definitely be explained because it always is. Every time you see the intro sequence, you're like, "Who are these people?" And then by the end, you're like, "Oh,
yeah,
I know."
No context spoilers.
Yeah, and in this, like we're seeing like 2 Hashira, and high end demons, and then like all these characters and stuff. And I'm like, we got a lot to cover. So yeah, you're probably right on why they're just like getting us through that.
Yeah. Plus, it served as a way to kind of show us what a sample of what this other Hashira is capable of with his effortless dodging.
He's almost like just like all finesse.
Yeah. Well, he's also strength because when he grabs him and he can't even budge his arm. So
yeah, but that could be, and he could just be strong. But like, oh god, what's the grappling martial art out of Japan?
Judo.
I think so. Yeah. Judo teaches you to use someone's weight against them. So I was thinking like potentially a finesse thing. He could just
possibly
know how to drop somebody by using their own weight or counterweight. So
I will be curious to see, obviously, him in actual combat because as we know, all Demon Slayers have an element attached to them. So it'd be cool to see what his is because, obviously with the last 2 we had fire and wind. They did. I think they made a statement saying he was also a fire type. Though,
I think they said that too.
Or
Yeah,
blast or something like that. I can't remember, but a variant of that.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to see that if that is the case, or if that was just someone talking out their ass. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm also curious to see how he fights in actual combat because we had with Rengoku, just a very samurai-esque fighter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool to see. But then with what's his name? The shinobi type dude.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Oh my god.
Tengen.
Yeah. Uzumi? Tengen? Yeah. Yeah. With him, he was very different than Rengoku. He was like, dual wielding and doing flips and like doing all this fast paced shit.
Nunchaku style.
Yeah, and blowing stuff up. So like, we've got some very different Hashiras in combat, and we've already seen like the butterfly chick do some butterfly stuff, or moth, wherever she's supposed to be. But not much from her. But with these guys, we haven't seen much. So now we're seeing with this dude, he's a very, can easily, effortlessly dodge and strike and stuff like that.
It seems like he's not like all there because even Tanjiro mentions like he's doing and saying all these things that come off rude, but there's no like malice.
He says he doesn't smell malice off him.
Yeah, so
I'm curious to see how his character is developed too, because when you watch the intro and outro sequence, we see what seems to be him in the past, and he's happy. So something changes.
I'm sure we'll see both him and the love Hashira's childhoods, because we get a backstory.
It was hinted at.
Mm-hmm.
It was hinted at in both the intro and outro, but with him it's interesting because he looks very happy, smiling, and like emotional. And so something's going to be revealed with that, because now he just seems more analytical, methodical, straight to the point, expressionless. So
and just doesn't care to remember anything.
Yeah.
That he doesn't deem relevant. So
I assume something bad happened to someone he cared about, and now he's just like all about, I gotta fucking kill demons.
Oh, probably.
That's why he's telling that kid, like, I'm gonna do whatever I need to get that key from you because you're less important than what I have to do.
Yeah.
And it comes off rude, but like if you from whatever he's gone through, I don't know.
It probably says what he's saying is correct.
Exactly.
He just doesn't like the way he's saying it.
Yeah. So I kind of see where that potentially could go. So it'll be interesting to kind of find out his character, as it has been with all the characters in the show so far.
I also like the play on the idea where, hopefully I'll get the names eventually, but the love Hashira, she tells him there's this secret treasure and to find the key, and then that wasn't like, your brain kind of immediately goes to like a key and a coffer, and in this it was a key and an automation with a sword in it. So
that's an interesting thing too that kind of misguided us in the first episode, is that she's like, oh, there's a key, and then he like instantly hears them whispering about the key, but you see that one dude and you're like, why is he hanging out with the demon guy? What's going on? What's up with this key? And then we find out like, oh, the key's just to this doll. But because the first guy who fought him was easily able to take his arm off and just be like, all right, I kicked his ass and left, he didn't find out that there's a sword inside him. So there is some kind of treasure that involves that key. So really interesting.
Agreed. Other than that, I mean, it's a fun episode, and they didn't really give us much to go on, like, other than we're probably gonna deal with the sword next episode.
The next episode literally was called The 300-Year-Old Sword.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I assume this will be 24 episodes.
I hope so.
And if it's anything like, I mean, we did the Entertainment District for, was it 30, 40, 50, like 16, 17 episodes, something like that?
Yeah.
And that had a lot of, like, lead up to start with it. And this is the whole season, I believe, with one arc. So I imagine we have a lot of like preemptive stuff to go through still before we get to the actual, which is fine because I think they handle downtime really well with Demon Slayer. Like I said earlier, the comedy beats really kind of like make the information episodes easy to kind of sit through because you're being entertained at the same time. So
yeah, when I found out, like, watching this episode, there's going to be a training arc essentially, like, in one episode, I was like, okay, that's fine. I could, that's cool enough. But there's a lot of humor in it, so it was fun.
For sure.
Yeah. This show has a really good sense of humor. I actually, find it funny. A lot of things I get it's trying to be funny. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But this, I like the humor in it.
Yeah.
I like the episode. I also appreciate that they were able to just flip everything and make us think one thing and then change it up within 2 episodes. So that's kind of cool. I also think it's interesting that in this world, there's combat dolls, essentially. It's essentially like a robot, but, older tech. So that's cool. I also want to know the history on it a bit more. They talked about a little bit, but it's, based off of this first-ranked demon that we've seen now. So there's a lot of information we're being given about that dude without knowing anything about him. So
also when he was talking to him about like having an idea of what that was built off, from that kid Kotetsu had brought up, like, maybe it's an ancestral memory type of thing.
Oh yeah, because he said he remembered that guy from a memory and
from dreams. Yeah,
the bird was like, "Well, you think you're 300 years old?"
Bird being the bird, yeah.
Yeah. Even when that Hashira walked by, it was just like looking at him and scoffing. I was like, okay. But yeah, it was neat. I also thought this is Demon Slayer, so the animation, even in a training montage, was really good. So it was fun to watch. I also really liked the animation of a 6-armed sword fighter, doing swings, and at one point it swung with one arm and then stabbed with the other, so you get a sense of it's just not swinging constantly. It's also doing like a lot of technical things, which would kind of give even more weight to the craftsmanship of making this thing was not easy.
Well, and they also said they had to give 6 arms to replicate the movements of this guy.
Yeah.
And that guy had 2 arms, so that's like kind of wild.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I wonder if he's based off of Musashi, because like he's redheaded, he's seems undefeatable. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of Musashi. But yeah, it was a good episode. Kind of basic in terms of what we got development wise, but it was fun. A lot of good humor. I would like to know more about the Hashira. I'm sure we will once we get further along in the show. I also would like to know his name, because I don't want to keep going the blue-eyed Hashira. But we're not there yet. Did I miss anything? It was pretty much just a training episode.
Yeah,
I don't think so. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know what's up with the 300-year-old sword. We will find that out in the next episode, and yeah, I want to see some cool combat. Also, want to know what's up with Inosuke and Zenitsu. I'm sure they will show up at some point, unless they're not in this season. That'd be kind of crazy.
I don't know if they are.
Yeah, we don't see them in the intro or outro.
Yeah,
so
I have a feeling they're not.
that'd be kind of sad. But it also would give room for more characters this season.
I'm sure, because
to be explored.
Yeah, well, I mean, like mentioned earlier, we have too many like powerful people from both sides in one arc, so it would be distracting to have, I think.
I'm curious how they'll handle that, because it's hard to think of them not being around. But I guess we'll find out. I also want to know what's up with that crazy dude who's just a complete dickhead, because in the intro it shows him point a double-barreled shotgun, and then towards the end of it shows him holding a gun. I'm like, is that his thing? Everybody's got swords and shit, and this dude just has a gun. He just looks like a nutcase. That's kind of scary. Yeah, good episode. Demon Slayer, always love it, always good. So yeah, anything else?
Nope.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think about episode 2 of Demon Slayer season 3. Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't like it, why didn't you like it? If you did like it, what did you like about it? What really stood out to you in this episode? What do you think about Tanjiro's training? What do you think about the doll? What do you think about the Hashira? If you've seen or if you've read the manga, we haven't. So please, no spoilers on any of that stuff. And what do you think about the sword and the crow? What do you think about that crow? That crow's an asshole. Let me know everything you think about in the comments below. I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. Stay tuned. We will have a Suzume review out soonish. We saw it in theaters. We just got to do the review and talk about it. So stay tuned for that and other reviews coming soon. But until then, we'll talk to you guys later.